O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2025 Acura RDX, $399 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt and Rayom. I'd like to wish you a happy holiday season and a healthy and prosperous new year from your favorite lawyers at Welt and Rayom.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2025 Acura Integra, $289 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
The lost city of Atlantis reveals its secrets at Toyota of Hollywood. Get legendary deals on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a 2024 Corolla. Not 24,000, 20,988. Unlock the wonders of 0% financing for 5 full years, 0 down. Rediscover Atlantis at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Welcome to Caneswear.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
There's just one place to get our lowest payment on the new 2024 Acura ZDX, $299 a month. It's the Season of Performance event at Acura of Pembroke Pines, #1 in the USA.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Welcome aboard. It is a hump day on a Wednesday, December 18th. We are days away from Christmas. So there we go. We got folks getting gifts all over the place. A little Hanukkah, a little Christmas. Depends on what you celebrate out there. So it's good. So we'll have some fun. Hopefully you get what you want under the tree or wherever else you get your gifts from. Let's see. I don't even know what I want. Actually, this year, my wife keeps asking me. I'm like, I have no idea what I want. I don't really want anything, actually. I just want Bitcoin to pump or something, Ethereum to pump, Avalanche to pump, Star Atlas, Polis. I got a little more Polis yesterday, actually. That's what I want. That's it. All I want is a Pumpalicious 2025. That's it. That's really what I want. That's what I want for Christmas. That's what I want for Valentine's Day. That's what I want for our anniversary, which we have our 31st year anniversary coming up. My birthday again, October 1st, which will hit the 59 mark. For all of that, I just want Pumpalicious, baby. That's it. Just give me some Pumpalicious. Give me that. That's all I want. That's all I want. Let's see. NorCal says both accounts are locked in. Thank you, NorCal. You're freaking amazing as always. Thank you all out there for supporting our show, however it is you support our show. We appreciate it immensely. All right, it's a Wednesday. We're kind of in the middle of the week here. I'm not going to bullshit you. There's not a ton to talk about, to be quite honest, today on the show. Outside of, I'm just not going to be doing the whole firing thing and all that because until they actually make some changes, then we'll talk about it. But because I know that that's going to be the shtick for every writer, every podcaster, every radio show, and all that kind of stuff, to kind of repeat the same things over and over again. So I know that's kind of going to be the MO all until they officially tell everybody, hey, yeah, we're everybody's coming back and all that kind of stuff. So we're kind of in limbo as it is. By the way, the Dolphins line against the Niners is down to 1 point. So it went from 2.5 to 1.5 to 1. Okay. All the money's coming in on the Niners. Clearly, all the money is coming in on the Niners. So that's not good. A lot of people don't feel they feel that the Dolphins may be on the brink of quitting on their coach. We'll see. We'll see what happens in these next 3 games. In the big picture, to me, it doesn't mean anything because I know who Mike McDaniel is and what he isn't. And so, it's up to the team to decide what they're going to do with that shit. So, whatever. It's depressing for me, to be quite honest. Like I told somebody said to me yesterday, would you still be watching the Dolphins if you weren't covering? And I go, yeah, you know what I mean? I just want this miserable season to end already because we're playing these games for no reason at all. There's nothing. The only thing that can happen in the next 3 games is more misery. Injuries. It's more misery because we, as fans, we're going to get most of those players back next year. Okay, well, at least if I'm going to have a chance as a fan next year, I'd like for all of them to be healthy. And so that's the only thing that I fear for the next 3 weeks is that you add insult to injury, that it's a bad season, and then you might lose somebody for the beginning of next year. And, like what happened with Chubb. Chubb was playing in a meaningless moment in a game, and you lost him for this season. Look how important it was to have pass rush because of the Phillips injury and then the Chubb injury, and then you draft 2 young guys. And while Chop is coming around, he's still a rookie. It's stupid to put a lot of expectations on a rookie. And looks like he'll turn the corner and he'll be fine down the line. But it's stupid in the first. And maybe Kamara will be fine down the line. But again, he's young. Next year will be the year where Kamara hopefully starts to play some. And then he starts to turn the corner himself. But he's obviously more of a project than Chop. But it's just a screwed up situation. So for me, the next 3 weeks, the only thing you can do to me is give me more bad news over the next 3 weeks. That's the only thing you can do is give me more bad news. And that's what I fear the most about these next 3 weeks is watching meaningless games. And unfortunately, they've got to go through the motions. Now, for some of the young guys, it's important. You know what I mean? But for some of the veteran guys, this stuff is not important anymore. It's almost like I almost don't even want to see Jalen Ramsey play because I'd rather save him for next year when it matters the most. Not that he's going to go and sit, but, you know. By the way, I hope that we are going to see Poyer done, you know, and get the McMorris kid in there and start seeing, because that's somebody that's not coming back. So it's kind of like what I said a week and a half ago with Armstead. I said when he got injured in that game and Paul came in, I said, that's it. It's time to turn the page. And this week, I'm glad that Paul played and Armstead did it. And I think that's really good. I hope Paul plays the rest of the year. Armstead is done. I wish him the best. He was terrific, but time to move on. Those kind of things you have to do because you got to get Paul playing time. But there are certain players out there that do I need to see Achane anymore for 3 more games? Do I? Do you? Do you need to see Achane anymore? Is there anything to prove with Achane right now? The overuse of Achane already? You tell me why Devon Achane should be playing another down for the rest of the season. I'd put his ass on ice, dude. Ice. I'd use Mostert because he gone. And then I'd work Jalen Wright because he's young and he needs the PT. And then whoever else you have on the roster, make them the third back. And that's it. I would not see Achane. I would not play Devon Achane again. Why? For your entertainment? I don't need it, bro. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need to see Devon Achane anymore. Okay? You're out of you've been out of the playoffs for weeks already. Okay? I'll entertain your little bullshit and media members because they got to hang on to their audience, and so they've got to write and create scenarios that are there mathematically, and you know, whatever. People are worried about people falling off because you're telling them that there's no. I don't care about that. I don't worry about that. I say it like it is, and that's it. And where the chips fall, it is what it is. I don't care. Okay. But now at this point, there are certain players that should not be playing anymore. They're not there to prove anything whatsoever. Waddle, even if he bounces back in the next week, there's no reason to play him anymore. Okay? None whatsoever. I'm sorry, but that's kind of what you should be doing for some of the guys that have a future with your team. You need to do some of that, you know? So if you're going to play Tua, obviously on the offensive line, you have to do the best you can to play whatever the hell you have left. But in other places, I would be making some business decisions with some of my guys because there are certain people. Achane has done more than enough this season. He does not need to do anything else at all. He's too valuable to your team. You know what I mean? But we'll see what McD does because he does a lot of stuff that makes absolutely no sense. So it is what it is. So good morning. Anyway, what do we have? Stephen Harris is number 1. I see there. Jonathan Cagle, Steve Chapman. Oh, and thank you, Sean. That's right. Cash App or Venmo, by the way, another way to support the show. Hit the like button, make a donation. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. You can also make a donation through PayPal. That's the other one, too. Use the QR codes that are there at the same time. Jamie Zoria in San Jose, hoping everybody has a great week and reminding you to smash it and the like button too. Oscar Rojas is smashing it. Ray Sosa, True Fin Fan, NorCal, Joseph. Yes, they flexed it to 405, which, I'm sort of pleased. It really should be a 1 o'clock game. Hell, that game should be put at 10 a.m. so even less people watch that garbage. Let's be honest. Dolphins-Browns should be on at 10 a.m. Okay, that way the only people that are interested getting up that early to watch that sorry-ass game are the suckers like you and me from the two markets of Cleveland and Miami. Outside of that, the rest of the NFL should not suffer. But a 4:05 game is better, but not good enough. I just want the NFL to know that. Better, but not good enough. It should have been a 1 o'clock game. Early, get us out of here. A 4 o'clock game, I'm still working till 10 o'clock at night. Not really a fan of that, by the way. Not really. They're not worth it. That's the thing. If they were worth it, great. But the Dolphins aren't worth a damn, dude. So, you know what I mean? They're not worth my attention. They're not worth my money. Like I've told you guys, people like NorCal, the Dolphins don't deserve NorCal. I saw Gorilla Luke out there. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. You know what I put on there? I put happy birthday. The Dolphins don't deserve you. Go look at it. Gorilla Luke is having a birthday today. I saw it on Instagram, and I wished him a happy birthday. And I followed up with, the Dolphins don't deserve you. Because they don't deserve Big E. And Big E, I hope you feel better, my brother. I hope you get back to 100%. Much love, much prayers, my man. They don't deserve any of you, dude. They don't deserve our time. They don't deserve our money. They don't deserve our attention. They don't deserve you paying your travel, hotel, and nothing. They don't deserve a goddamn thing, dude. Seriously, let's be honest. They give you nothing, dude. For 40 years, they do nothing. Nothing. Decade in, decade out. They deserve, and we do everything for them. Everything. We're constantly talking about them. We're constantly reporting on them. We're constantly watching them. We're constantly supporting them. We're going on the road for them. We're buying hats, shirts, jerseys. And what do we get in return, dude? Nothing whatsoever. Is that amazing or what? What a relationship it is. The Dolphin and the Dolphins. The Dolphins don't give you jack shit, dude. Jack shit. The end of Shula, he doesn't give you jack shit. Jimmy Johnson, all he did was talk shit. Dave Wanstead, all he had was a porn stash. Cam Cameron, he wanted to turn that thumb right side up and tell you about the Ginn family. I mean, Adam Gase, Flo, McD, what? Philbin, you got a cleaner field because Philbin was picking up the papers? Think about that. Think about everything you do. They do nothing for you. What, the Miracle in Miami? Is that what you got to do? You got to support loser moments? Oh, you avoided 0-16 because a receiver got free and scored against the Ravens because the Ravens gave that game away. And so that's what we celebrate. This is what we celebrate nowadays. That's what the elevator closes, and it's about the Miracle in Miami, a meaningless game in a meaningless season in another meaningless decade. Think about all of that. Think about everything you do for the Dolphins, and they don't do shit for you, dude. They don't do shit for you, man. They don't win anything. Nothing whatsoever. The Marlins at least have given you a couple championships in the same time. They could give you all the shit. They don't spend any money. They have no owners, but shit, dude, at least they have a couple championships, 03 and 97. What do you remember from 03 and 97 from the Dolphins? Shit. Meaningless crap. Wildcat. That's what you're celebrating? The Wildcat. We came up with a gimmick. The Miami Miracle. Let's celebrate a gimmick. That's what we are, a gimmick. Mike McDaniel, a gimmick. Think about that, dude. Think about everything you do for that franchise. And they do nothing for you, bro. Nothing. They don't give you any satisfaction whatsoever. They're never a good franchise. They're never one of the best franchise. They're never run the best way. They never win big games. They never go deep into the playoffs. They rarely even go to the playoffs. And when they do, it's just an embarrassment. They do nothing, bro. Like nothing. The best thing that the Dolphins do is that they've created a place for you to go watch a concert, which is a great place for a concert. It's a great place for the F1 race, a great place for the tennis tournament, great place to go watch the circus on the outside or the one that's on the inside on Sundays. Because you have two circuses, Cirque du Soleil and Cirque les Dolphins, Cirque les Fins. It's amazing. You need some care. They've got a hospital in the facility. You want to ride? You can ride a gondola. I mean, they provide a lot of that kind of stuff for you, fluff. But think about everything that you all do for the Dolphins. You prepare parties at your house. You go tailgating. You spend hundreds of dollars doing all of that. In a season, thousands of dollars. You spend thousands of dollars on season tickets. You spend hundreds of dollars on the red zone ticket or whatever the hell that thing is called, the NFL ticket. You spend hundreds, sometimes thousands, if you go to multiple games, to travel to watch them. You spend your time talking about them, reading about them, listening about them, watching them. And dude, what do they give you in return? Nothing. Nothing of substance. For decades, dude. What a scam. The Dolphins scam is one of the greatest scams of all time. Every coach from the back end of Shula till now has been absolutely incompetent and cannot win at the NFL level and have success at the NFL level from the back end of Shula till now. Because we cannot leave, and we must remind people that everything that goes on now went on with the back end of Shula. Everything. The same frauds they are now, they were frauds in those days too. Same team that gets pushed around now. Marino's teams got pushed around all the time and punched and just stepped on and run all over and abused. Yeah, they put up the fluff numbers and all that on offense, but when it came to toughness, they didn't have a goddamn ounce of it. You guys are tough. You work all day. You work all year. You pay for your trips. You pay for your season tickets. You stand in line. You go and travel. You put up with the security. You put up with airplanes. You put up with people coughing and wheezing and all kinds of shit in airplanes to go from game to game. And how in the hell do they ever reward you? Ever? How? What? After you bought that suite, after you bought those season tickets, after you bought those club seats, after you went on the road for those games, after you went to Caneswear and bought that hat and that shirt and that jersey, when you went to the Hall of Fame to go support your players, all of that. I got sponsors, especially one specific sponsor in Ray Martinez, that spent a lot of money. R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall spent a lot of money to send us on several road games. How did they repay us? I break a shit ton of stories about this team. I give you a lot of info on this team. I mean, it's like there is not one reward from the Miami Dolphins ever, dude. Is that amazing? Ever. The Heat reward their fans. The Panthers reward their fans. The fucking Marlins rewarded their fans. And they do nothing every year. They don't even try. But in a couple of years that shit fell into place, they won. 97, they were literally trying to win a championship, and they won it. Because Wayne Huizenga, that was the goal, and they did it. 2003, it was everything fell into place. None of us saw it coming. That was kind of miracle-ish. Not Miami miracle. See, that's the difference. A Marlin miracle and a Dolphin miracle. Let's just look at that one, okay? When we talk Marlins miracles, it ends up with Dontrell Willis and Cabrera, and we end up in the World Series, and they win it against the big bad Yankees, and I mean, that's miracle. For the Dolphins, it's a shit game that they beat New England Patriots in a meaningless season, in another meaningless season, and another meaningless decade, another meaningless organizational move, another meaningless coach. Same shit. Same turd in the bowl. You just see, the problem is we keep lifting the bowl and we see the turd there and we forget to flush it. We walk away, and instead of flushing it, and then we come back. We look, and we don't flush it. It's amazing. You do everything for the Dolphins, and they do nothing for you. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever, dude. What a scam. What a scam. Absolutely awesome. Way to go, Miami Dolphins organization. I got to tell you, it's impressive. It's impressive to have that kind of scam and pull it off for 4 decades and just sucker people and mislead and lie and be incompetent and not get anything ever done. Doesn't matter if it's Shula, doesn't matter if it's Saban or Parcells or McD or whatever it is. They're all failures. They're all jokes. They're all soft. They're all failures, period. Really, failures. Shula, back end of Shula was an utter failure. Jimmy Johnson was a complete joke. Oh, we're going to be special. You didn't do shit, dude, to be special. Come on, man. So think about that. Just let that just sit in. You do everything. They do nothing whatsoever. Nothing. You know how much those fan clubs do? Huh? Do you know how much those fan clubs go through? You have any idea the shit that NorCal has to put together to put all those events? You have any idea what it takes, Doll Freaky? Huh? Annie must be working her ass off on the West Coast over there in Florida, building up a fan base, a get-together from nothing, dude. Our boys at SoCal, same thing, dude. That guy is there every freaking week. His get-togethers, prizes, giveaways, all kinds of stuff. And, it's just everywhere, dude. Doesn't matter. NYC, they do the same thing. They're at Slattery's. They're super dedicated. The guys at Dolphins Talk. Just goes on and on. Dudley, you name it, whatever. It just, I could just go on and on and on and on and on and on and talk about all these people. And they work so hard to help you in your promotions for anything and everything, charitable and everything. And you guys don't reward your fans with substance, dude. It's all fluff bullshit. It's all fluff bullshit. There's no substance on the field. You're a joke as a franchise. You everything that Shula built, he helped destroy, by the way. He started to destroy it. Because, his teams used to be tough and all that. His teams and the back end were soft as hell. And then it just continued, and it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And it never gets better. And it's just the same kind of shit. It's just different faces, different decades, but there's no difference. The results are the same. You're a fraud, and you do nothing of substance for your fan base. Nothing whatsoever at all, dude. That's shameful. It's shameful that you're so bad at your profession. The dentist that buys his tickets is a hell of a lot better than you. The teacher, she obviously does a better job in her classroom, and yet, man, she works for that salary and she's buying her season tickets, and she gets to do her job and go root, and you guys can't do your job. It's interesting. The postman, the Walmart worker, it's interesting. All those people are going to your games, and, they work hard in their own jobs. They obviously produce because they got jobs. Yet you guys all get paid, and you produce nothing. Your players get paid. Your executives get paid. Your coaches get paid. Your scouts get paid. The owner gets paid for your games, for practices, for jerseys, for everything, and yet you produce nothing. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing because, that teacher had to produce in the classroom, had to earn a degree, had to make the money, buy the tickets to go get entertained, and doesn't get entertained. Just get screwed over and over again. The garbage man, the post office worker, they're all excelling at their jobs. And then they excel so well that they have discretionary income because, they do have to pay for insurances and kids and gas and all. And then on top of that, they pay for expensive Dolphin tickets, expensive Dolphin jerseys, expensive Dolphin road trips, expensive NFL tickets, expensive parties at home for get-togethers, expensive tailgating and all that. And wow, dude, it's amazing. Your fan base excels in their own world, and then they spend money in your world, and you reward them with nothing. Nothing. Hey, you got a tunnel to get to the game now. Hey, you got a couple of bridges, and you got a gondola, and you got this. How about wins? How about playoff wins? How about a championship? How about a Super Bowl appearance? How about deep playoff runs often? I don't know. You guys ever thought of that? No, we'll give you Cirque du Soleil. We'll give you a roof. We'll bring Rolling Loud. We'll bring Jazz in the Gardens. We'll bring a tennis tournament, but we won't bring wins. Hey, we'll improve the suites. Hey, Dolphins, Canes fans, let's go back to the Orange Bowl where we had urine dripping on us, but we were winning. Let's go. I got my raincoat. Oh, man. By the way, Ty in the Bronx, thank you for the love on Cash App, sir. Big O, Fins, fanboy, suck ass. Thank you. Thank you, Ty in the Bronx. Appreciate you, my brother. That's an interesting message sent. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. What can I tell you?
Let's see. Joseph, Finns and Browns flex to 405. Jay Gelfin is in the house. Stephen Harris. One-Eyed Jack, good morning to you, sir. Alexis Palenzuela, Gus 1388. Jay Slim, Cosa Nostra. Let's see. True Finn fan. Chase One, Skull Leader, Randy Man, Skylar Tipton. Man Dog, Dolphins need to lose out the rest of the way. Winning is not building anything. They got to try to win, bro, because they got to try to justify the existence. So that's what McD's got to do. You know what I mean? If he makes it look as incompetent as he normally is, then there's a chance he might get fired. Let's see. Anthony, Kyle Campos, Magnus. Chase One says, I have literally zero desire to watch Finns versus Browns. Apathy at its finest. I don't blame you, dude. You know? Stephen Baker. He's in for the development part. I don't mind playing some of the young guys. I would watch out with some of my other guys that I need for next year. I would probably, say, yeah, Jalen, you kind of need to hang out, bro. I don't want to use Ramsey. That would be a problem for me. Why grind Achane into the ground? Well, that's just me. Thomas Bossero put 2 in a bubble wrap for the rest of the season. The problem is they have no backup quarterback, and so they won't be able to compete at all. But they did bring Skyler back for the practice squad. I didn't know that the Dolphins make moves out of sympathy. So this is a participation trophy? Is this you're trying to, I don't know, justify your stupidity? That, McD, you were around Skylar Thompson for 3 years. You had no idea he couldn't play. And when you really needed him, he shit the bed. He couldn't even hand off the second time around the right way. And you knew that. We knew that. That's why you pulled him right away and brought Tua back. Enough said. So now you did the smart thing. You did what I said you should do, which is once Huntley would come back, you'd cut Skyler. But I didn't think you'd bring him back. So you brought him back to keep him on the roster till the end of the year, and then you'll let him go quietly? You didn't just want to make it an outright cut because it would make you look really bad? So we're now watching the Miami Dolphins add a player to the practice squad out of sympathy and save their face. Because the Skylar Thompson move, seriously, what are we doing here? That guy belongs nowhere near an NFL roster, not even a practice squad roster. This is just so your move doesn't look nearly as bad and pathetic as it is. Mike McDaniel was around this guy, coaching him for 3 whole seasons, and had no idea he couldn't play. He had no idea that his brain would go so scatter that he would yellow out completely, to the point that the guy forgot how to hand off properly. And please don't tell me that's not the case, because you pulled him right away. We saw it, you saw it, and you wasted no time. So you came to the same conclusion we did. We know what the real conclusion is. Why don't you? Why would you bring back Skylar Thompson? Sympathy move? That's pretty pathetic. That's soft on McDaniel's part, which is the impression he gives off. Soft. Anyway, what else do we have here? Josh, what's happening, my man? Big O, what about our fantasy teams? I don't know. I have no fantasy teams. I'm not in the playoffs. I'm not in fantasy. I stopped playing a couple of years ago. So I used to be so huge into fantasy and everything, and I have completely lost all interest in that. Let's see. What else? Can you provide 3 names the Dolphins will move on from this offseason? I know you got some inside whispers, brother. What players to move off? Well, obviously Armstead's gone. Poyer's gone. You pull up I can pull up and give you the obvious ones that are going to be gone pretty much. Overall, I hate to say it, Holland is probably. I would tag him because I still think he can be a hell of a player, but God, he has not played like you should bring him back. You know what I'm saying? River Craycraft is gone. I don't know what happened after the injury. The way he came back, not a good situation. So I think you've seen the end of River Craycraft. Like I said, Teron Armstead is gone. Patrick Paul will step in. Robert Jones could still come back and be a backup practicing player, whatever. We'll see. Brewer definitely is coming back. Liam Eichenberg will come back. It's not going to cost him anything. Kendall Lamb, he says he wants to come back. If he does, you could use him as a backup to Austin Jackson. So that kind of works. If you want Jonnu Smith, definitely. If it's McD, he will probably bring back Julian Hill. Durham Smythe should not be back. Okay. He should be gone. I'm not telling you from insight that I know or something like that. I'm just telling you, at least I don't think Durham Smythe should be back. Who else? Mostert, gone. After all the fumbling, H.N. Wright should be your guys. Wilson, gone also. So I would imagine Mostert and Wilson are gone. Wright and H.N. are back. Ingold will definitely be back. Calais Campbell will probably retire. Let's see who else. Zach Sealer obviously is going to return. Chop Robinson, yes. Quentin Bell will probably be given a training camp roster spot. Jordan Brooks for sure will come back. Duke Riley, all depends. You know, he's a special teamer, not a guy you really want at linebacker, whatever. It's not a big deal. Anthony Walker, please. You're a sack of injuries. You're constantly injured. So you played for a couple of weeks. Who cares? You started with injuries. You end with injuries. Whatever. Enough of that. Kamara, and if Agba wants to stay, I would bring him back. He's not going to command a lot of money. He can be a back-end roster guy. Let's see who else. I love Storm Duck, young guy. You can build on that. I'd like to see Patrick McMorris play more down the stretch here. Jordan Poyer gone. Holland could be gone. I personally would tag him and save him for one more year because I think whatever happened to him last year with those 2 knee injuries or whatever, he has not been the same player. That I will give you. So that's a good reason not to give him a contract. But tagging him is not the worst tag in the world because it's not a huge tag. Safeties aren't huge tags. So I like Javon Holland a lot, man. A lot. But if they cut him, or those of you that say you got to move on, I can't argue with you. Okay? You have everything on your side right now. The way he has played, he has not played like you can keep him. Kohu you keep for sure. Saran Neal's garbage. What else do we have here? And then, okay, here we go. The injured reserve guys. Braxton Berrios, gone. Jalen Phillips will stay. Austin Jackson will stay. Bradley Chubb will stay. I'd keep Tyus Bowser. I'd bring him back as a guy, training camp, and then see what happens. The Taj Washington kid from USC, we never really got to see him. So, yeah, he's a training camp body. Tanner Connor, please get rid of that guy already. He's taken up roster spots and now an IR spot, whatever. Just get rid of that guy. Cam Smith is still a rookie. He's not costing you anything, so you bring him back another year and see if he can get on the roster. See if he can make the team. Next year, he has to make the team, stay healthy and make the team. If he can't stay healthy and make the team, then you cut him. Definitely look forward to bringing back Keon Smith. He was developing. I do like him. And then that's it. That's kind of a recap of everything else. I would get a kicker too for Jason Sanders, for sure. I still don't trust Jason Sanders. I hate the fact that when he lines up, I still have, I'm still worried instead of feeling confident. So that part is not acceptable with Jason Sanders. And please, I don't understand bringing back Mike McDaniel at all. But Danny Crossman, Jesus Christ, dude. How much more of a CFU do you have to be as a coach? So there's your recap. Okay. By the way, Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, a proud sponsor of our program. We love Larry Schlossberg, Pat Nasto, Tony Stampone, all the great people out there. They know how to get it done. And folks, get electrified right now because they have got the ZDX going on for $449 a month. It is amazing. And they've got 0.9% financing for 72 months. The 2025 MDX Tech, it is awesome. $10,000 off the MSRP right now in stock for immediate delivery. The 2025 RDX, they've got it for $399 a month in stock for immediate delivery. Check out the ILX. It is a beautiful vehicle. Check out the large selection of vehicles at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. And that's what I love. I love having a large selection. That's a beautiful thing. I took my daughter once before she bought her car at Craig Zinn's Toyota dealership. I took her to another place that had a very limited selection because it was her choice. I couldn't argue with her. I told her, hey, listen, come to Craig Zinn because their dealerships have a large selection. Come to see Acura or at Toyota of Hollywood. She wanted to go somewhere else. And they had a limited selection. So limited, it was pathetic. That's what I love about what Larry Schlossberg does there at Acura Pembroke Pines. He's got a lot that is just overflowing with cars. That way you can pick the car you want, the color you want, the style you want, the model you want, but more importantly, the price you want. And by the way, check out the fleet of certified pre-owned vehicles that will blow you away. Mike Chan, Jordan Ferber, they do an awesome job in that service center. So if you own or lease an Acura, like we have in our family for many years, you go there and check it out at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Let's see what else. Ian says, Big O, you say that McDaniel should make Frank Smith the play caller. Do you really think it makes a difference? I have no idea. I do know this. Mike McDaniel doesn't work. So if they're not going to fire, okay, so I've moved on from that. Okay, so from everything I'm hearing, there are no changes going to be made. Okay, so if you're not going to fire him, then, there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some adjustments. I can tell you that. So my suggestion is give Frank Smith an opportunity to be the play caller and run the offense. Okay, McDaniel can help design the game plan during the week, but the guy that calls the plays and is coaching the offense during the week is Frank Smith. And give him a chance. Whether he can do it, as I've repeated, Ian, if you ask me, you're asking me something, and then you're not paying attention, because every time I've said it, I've said, do I think he can do the job? I don't know. But I'd want to try at least, because I know Mike McDaniel can't do the job. He can't handle being a head coach and the offensive coordinator. So just be the head coach. Be the guy handling personalities. Be the guy handling communication with the offense, the defense, the special teams, the players, the coaches. Be the conduit to everything that's going on in the field. Be a head coach. Let Frank Smith be the offensive coordinator. Let Weaver be the defensive coordinator. And please, for God's sake, find me another special teams coach. So, again, do I know Frank Smith can do it? No. But I do know Mike McDaniel can. So, you're not making changes like firing the head coach, right? Okay, you're not doing that. Well, then at least please do this. Try this at least. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. Week 2, the beatdown against Buffalo at home, the season was over. Yeah. Mathematically, obviously not, but it kind of told you, no progress. We move on. I get what you're saying, Thomas. Yeah. In hindsight, basically, you're right. Let's see. Nah, Gus, not 4 o'clock. I need it at 1 o'clock, that Dolphins-Browns game. I need it earlier, bro. I don't need a later game. I'd like to get this season over with as soon as possible and as early as possible. Let's see. 53 Kings Drill says, breaking news, I just fired Greer and McDaniel on my Madden franchise. We're making progress. We're moving ahead on Madden franchise. Lance McDonald, keeping Tua is asinine. What's asinine is, listen, okay, whether you like Tua or you don't, or Jalen Ramsey or you don't, or Waddle or you don't, or Tyreek or you don't. I'm missing one more big contract, Sean. Ramsey, Waddle, Tyreek, Tua. There's one more, right? There's one more giant contract they gave. What, isn't there? Or am I did I get them all?
I think you got them all because Armstead's retiring, so that would be another one, but that's it.
Right. Yeah, I got them all. Yeah, because Austin Jackson, they gave him but that one.
They said Chubb were you thinking Chubb?
Chubb, yes, very good. Nice job by you guys. I love you guys. All those players are untradeable, uncuttable, on whatever the hell you want. Okay? Because I had to straighten somebody out on Twitter. And so let's straighten and you know what, Sean? Let's record this one. All right, here's a reminder for any of you idiots that want to trade Tua or Chubb, okay, Waddle, Tyreek, Ramsey, okay? Those big 5 contracts that they gave and those big signing bonuses, they're all untradeable. Because fiscally, okay, by trading them, it would accelerate into the cap all the bonus money. And then it would become cap hell. Like a cap hell that they would force them to start cutting other players that you would want and want to keep and those kind of things. Or you won't be able to re-sign or anything down the line because you do things like that. So the moves they made, they're basically stuck with all those players for another year or 2, depending on which ones they are. Tyreek, 1 more year, and then you can let him go. That's why I said don't guarantee the deal. With Tua, his new deal doesn't start till next year. So it's a few years down the line before you can move off from that one. It's fiscally, it is impossible. Okay, so I want you to know All right. For those of you out there that want to make whatever move or whatever, they cannot do any of that. All right. You sound stupid. You sound ignorant. And you don't understand the reality of the business. So those 5 players are pretty much untouchable. You can't trade them. You can't cut them. You can't do anything because of all the money you have guaranteed up front already. You got to wait a couple of years till you're into those deals before you can start to get out of them. So you just signed them. And some of them, like Waddle and Tua, they haven't even started yet. Okay? You relax. I get it. You're pissed off. You may not like this player. You don't like the front office. You don't like the head coach. You don't like the quarterback. Whatever it is, you don't like the situation. You don't like the losing. Of course, because they never give you anything. As we said. I get it. But use your head. Well, most of you can't because you're not really informed. You're not really educated on the thing. So you say stupid shit and just run your mouths and then just throw stuff out there that is impossible. So fiscally, that stuff can't go on right now. Okay? Just like this past offseason, when you had media members trying to scare you people into, cap crisis. And I said, no, dude, they have no cap crisis. They'll be fine. They can accommodate everybody this year. And they did with no problem. They got everything done. You know what I mean? And they could get it done next year also. It's the year after, as I warned you last year, that it's 2 years down the line when it really starts to get ugly. Can you imagine if you start cutting these kind of players? You think 2 years from now it gets ugly? Oh, my God, it gets really ugly right away. Not going to happen. They are pretty much stuck like Chuck right now, fiscally, into the head coach, the front office, and the players. Right now, money-wise, they are stuck. Okay? And the owner has given out hundreds of millions of dollars right now to, when you talk about all those players, the coaches in the front office. It's a lot of money. You just can't flush it right down the toilet and start over. Just can't. So I'm trying to give you logic, okay? In this whole world of frustrations and everything else, take a step back. There are some things they just cannot do. And those moving those players, they can't. So you can't bring somebody new because they have to inherit that. So they're going to keep what they have status quo to try to see if they can make it happen with what they have, since fiscally they're stuck. I hope you understand that. I hope I've enlightened you on the reality situation that the Miami Dolphins in 2025 are in. In 2026, then you can start to maybe create a little bit more flexibility and start to unload some stuff. In 2027, then you can really start to unload some stuff. But this is this is why this team should have been much better the last 3 years under Mike McDaniel. The hiring of Mike McDaniel was the real mistake because you ruined the window for this team and you never maximized what this team could be because you didn't have the right coach. And that's the most frustrating part about all of this. It is so poorly coached and designed that it just does not give the players the success that they need. And you don't want to hear this, but the front office could have actually had a better showing for what they put together if they had a better coach. The coach ruined their opportunity, and now they look bad. And so now all of you that want to get rid of everybody, you're all justified. I can't argue. As much as I like the 3 guys in the front office, I can't argue with you. I can't defend it. I can't stand on it. Can't do it. Can't do it because nothing's worked. And if you're bringing this guy back next year, oh my God. This is why I say okay, you're stuck like Chuck. You're going to bring him back. Do not allow him to be the play caller, at least. At least do that. And Crossman. At least do that, please. And get a backup quarterback. And I've got a doozy for you there. Anyway. Let's see. What else do we have? Never good. To his contract, not only bad decision. Sign, be fair to the player. Tyreek was worse. But Cosa Nostra, I don't remember you saying not to guarantee Tyreek. I don't remember that. I'm not accepting any complaints on Tyreek. None. Because I don't remember almost anyone agreeing with me on Tyreek. So I don't remember any specific names of people on the chat board that said, you're right, I wouldn't guarantee Tyreek. I don't remember. I remember being on an island all by myself. So sorry, Cosa Nostra. I'm not accepting any complaints about Tyreek from most of you out there. But I can complain about Tyreek. I can complain all I want about Tyreek because it's all out there. It's on record. Okay? It's on record. Over and over and over and over and over again. I said not to guarantee him. Okay? I said it over and over again. This is your window. Get the hell out. So the Tyreek stuff, I don't remember at any time you saying don't give Tyreek the money. Don't remember it. So let's see what else. NorCal says the DCC is amazing, but the football field stuff is stressful. LOL. Yeah. The Dolphins do great on everything else, NorCal. But the one thing they're supposed to actually excel in, that's the worst thing they're at. They're better at building bridges and walkways at their stadium than they are at football. They're better at bringing the circus to town than they are. Well, actually, they bring the circus every week. I'm sorry. I digress. I'm sorry. Anyway, Chris Ortiz is in the house. Dark Entity is there. I'm having an epiphany with this speech. Dolphin says, scam of the ages. They are. They are. The Dolphins are the scam of the ages. Reminds me of the play The Producers. True Fin Fan says, I've heard you say a lot of things that I agree with. This rant is by far my favorite. Why? Because it's so damn truthful. Well said, Big O. Thank you. Marlins conning the fans, and they stop going. That's it. You're right. We had a chance to get a great head coach, better GM, better QB, and we still make bad decisions. I know, Shang Tusheng. It makes no sense that I like the front office and how the things have turned out. Yeah. I got nothing to stand on. At least I'll admit when I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, doesn't look good. Matty Camacho. Get used to the feeling. As long as Tua is a QB, you'll never be able to beat the juggernauts of the AFC, period. Yeah, I know that, Matty, but was Marino beating the juggernauts? I remember Buffalo dominating him in the early 90s. I remember Buffalo going to the Super Bowls. So what happened, bro? What juggernauts? Like, Jacksonville 62-7? Like when you figured out the Wildcat and then you get to the playoffs and it's 20-3 and Baltimore kicks your ass? So is it really a Tua thing? Marino, he gets to the Super Bowl with the Niners, my brother. And the Niners thoroughly embarrassed Marino and the Dolphins, and they kicked their ass. Hey, but no, you can hang on the one. They beat the Bears. But then what happened, dude, in the AFC Championship with New England and Marino? 4 fumbles and soft, and they couldn't beat them. A lesser team. So I'm not sure, Matty. I'm trying to help me out, my brother. Marino's biggest moments are absolute failures, dude. The AFC was fraudulent from 85 to 95. All the championships were won by the Giants, the Redskins, the Niners, the Cowboys. Just to give you a little education, my brother. The AFC was garbage. So Miami got through garbage and got to the championship. What happened against the Niners, dude? Did they belong anywhere near the Niners? Soft-ass team, dude. Can't beat the juggernauts. Just wondering, bro. Can't beat the juggernauts. Marino couldn't beat the juggernauts either, dude. What happened, bro? Look at all the Jimmy playoff runs. They ended embarrassingly. Raiders, Broncos, Jags. Those games combined, I think the Dolphins lost. Can you do me a favor? Give me the combined scores of the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Jags and Jimmy Johnson. Just those 3. Give me the combined scores. Juggernauts. Marino. I can spin this to a thing on you guys because maybe Matty Camacho is 25 years old or 35. Maybe you're even 45, dude. You didn't live it either. Forgive me, my brother, but they haven't been tough since the greasy days. All I know is a Dolphins team in 82, gritty little team with Woodstock got there. And then guess what happened? Washington got them and spanked them and sent them home. Theismann stole the ball from Bo Camper. That's so Dolphins of a play, dude. That's 40 years ago. But, Matty Camacho, it's all good, bro. I get it, my man. You probably got, 3 hairs on your balls. You've been around on this earth 25 years. You have no perspective, no history. So you just want to make it about now. Those Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas teams, what did they do, bro? What did they do? What did they win? Were they beating the juggernauts? I'm wondering because I don't remember them beating juggernauts. I don't remember deep runs in the playoffs. I remember embarrassing playoff appearances. I remember a lot of shortcomings with those teams. Again, not the problem of all those specific players, but organizationally. Yes, sir, Sean.
I'm not sure if I did my math correctly, but they were outscored 117 to 13.
Juggernauts with Marino.
17-3 to the Patriots.
Huh? I'm sorry?
17-3 to the Patriots, 38-3 to the Broncos, and 62-7 to the Jaguars.
Oh, wait, you left the Raider one out.
Oh, I didn't. Hold on.
You put the Patriots. You left the Raider one out, too.
I went to Jimmy Johnson's playoffs. I went to Jimmy Johnson's playoff with the Dolphins. He lost to New England, Denver, and Jacksonville.
No. Give Matty Camacho a little history because, he thinks softness is now. It's fucking hilarious, dude. So many of you really don't know the history of the Miami Dolphins. You really don't know the history of the Miami Dolphins. You think that all this just happened now? This has been going on for 40 years. We've been watching Jay Brophy's sorry ass. Okay? And Jerry Wilson's sorry ass. And Bud Brown's sorry ass. Okay? We've been watching sorry like forever and Cleo Lemon. Sorry ass. I mean, come on, dude. Matty Camacho. But hey, Just kid yourself and think that it's just now. You got that Raiders score for me? That was a beauty. That was a beauty. Whoa. Jimmy Johnson, man, he was so glorious in the playoffs. The biggest frauds, some of the top 3 frauds in the history of the NFL the last 40 years, the Dolphins are one of the top 3 frauds. It's like so many of you, like you create this illusion that doesn't exist. Marino's teams were all soft-ass teams, dude. They rarely won against big teams. What? They had a couple of decent performances. Why? Because they got into shootouts with Richard Todd and Eason. That's why it's memorable. Jesus Christ, dude. It's amazing. Anyway. Yes, sir. You got that score for me on the Raiders? Because I know that one, you throw that one in there, that total goes even crazy.
Is that a regular season game or?
No, it was the playoffs. I'm pretty sure out of the playoff games, I could have sworn, maybe I'm
Jimmy
wrong.
Johnson or just during
on Jimmy, they had a terrible loss to the Raiders in the playoffs. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
it was just the Patriots, those 3. The first year they didn't make the playoffs, they were 8-8.
Okay.
So just those 3 were the losses. He was outscored in the playoffs 117-13.
I thought so. They went 3 of the 5 to the playoffs. I thought he went 4 of the 5 to the playoffs.
They only have 3 of 4.
Okay.
On his thing, but I let me go back and see here. Because Johnson was what, 96?
All right. 96, 97, 98, 99, and 2000. Right? I think that's how it goes. I think he was here for 5 years. If I'm correct, or 4 years.
So in 2000, they lost to the Raiders 27-0 after they beat the Colts 23-17 in overtime.
Right.
They don't have that one though as Jimmy. But let me see that.
That's
probably maybe.
Yeah, it's Wanstead's first year. But Matty Camacho, juggernauts. Those juggernauts, because we've always been beating the juggernauts. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Marino, Fiedler, Pennington. Yeah, they all beat juggernauts. Yeah, constantly. Yeah, that's our history as the Dolphins. We've always beaten juggernauts. Isn't it amazing? It's not like we beat a juggernaut once in a blue moon. Doesn't matter if it's Fiedler, doesn't matter if it's Tua, doesn't matter if it's Marino. No, it doesn't matter. But no. Now we never beat them. But back then we always used to beat them, according to Matty Camacho, because he's a historian of the Dolphins. Let's see what else. What else do we have here? Alex in New York, the more things change, the more they stay insane. Oscar says, I canceled my 50-yard line seats. F those bozos. I don't blame you, dude. NorCal says, Big O, to be perfectly honest, the referee calls has changed the game the most, and that alone has made me tune out other games. I literally wasted every Sunday. All day now I watch the Fins and out. No, I listen, I get that, but, that doesn't make up for how bad our franchise is and how it never can put together a truly respectable season or seasons. They can never put a truly respectable era together. Never. They have eras where they have some nice players, but they never really accomplish anything. Nothing. They don't go on like a couple deep playoff runs with memorable big-time games against big-time opponents. Never. They never win a championship. They never win the AFC. They never go to the AFC Championship game. They're never a threat to go to the AFC Championship game for a couple of years. You know, like things that like really good teams get in a role and they're like a threat for a while. Miami's never that. Never, dude. Never. It's amazing. The party's over, Bubba. Skull leader, Cy loves all, because he does. Javs Trasdamus. Truth is that as long as Ross owns the franchise, the Finns will be mediocre at best. Well, so far, that's what he's proven. So it's hard to argue with you. Got to draft a QB. Enough is enough, says Miami Kid J. Thomas Becerra, Ross, sell the team, my brother. That's not going to happen. Ty in the Bronx. Big O is never wrong. Ross must go, period. Again, not going to happen. Dude will die, move on, and his daughter will take over. Family will take over. That whole stuff with the other guy taking over after the whole Brady move, that's gone too. Chris says at this point, even if McDumb tries to look like he's trying to win, it'll still look horrible and will lose, and he should look like he should be fired. Edward Thurston, how Ross needs to stop hiring dorky head coaches like Gase and McDaniel, get a coach that is going to hold players accountable. But wasn't that Saban? Wasn't that Parcells? Wasn't that Jimmy Johnson? Wasn't that Flo? They've hired the disciplinarian. They've hired the great offensive mind. They've hired the great defensive mind. They've hired the young up-and-coming coordinator. They've hired the Super Bowl winning coach. They've hired the Hall of Fame coach. They've hired the hot college coach. They've done it all. Dude. They have failed in every way possible. The good cop, the bad cop, the Hall of Fame cop, the Hall of Fame college cop. We fail with all of them. There's nothing that we've done it all. We've hired every one of those roles. Everyone. Oh, we need a great defensive mind. Oh, we need an offensive mind. We need a guy that develops QBs. Isn't that what you have here right now? Isn't that what Gase is supposed to be? You know, it's really amazing, dude. We've done all of that. All of it. Ocala Joe, Big O, I've been calling them a fraud since Shula was kicked to the curb. Thanks for telling the truth. It's sad. It's the sad truth. So, Silverio. Big O, being real, I don't like you, but you're right about the Dolphins. Big O, keep cooking these idiots. Jason Flesh, look better than Tua in a playoff game. Let's see. Or you can look worse like Peyton Manning and win a Super Bowl. Helps to have a team, doesn't it? Come on, Dolphin Nation. What franchise owner has been fired by its fan base? And how do you get rid of a GM who has tenure only through retirement or death? Christopher Chavez says, at what point do you finally sit back and admit that Tua ain't it, brother? I mean, how much more do you have to see to be convinced? It has nothing to do with what I'm seeing on the field, my brother. You know, so just the way it is. It's not being built right. So you put the kid in a position where he's not going to succeed. So I've already explained it many times. If you can't understand it, I can't help you, my brother. So, what else do we have here? Teddy Bridgewater is out there saying he wants to come back. Finn should do it, LOL. Yeah, that would be a real joke. Imagine if the Dolphins had a backup like Carson Wentz when Tua went down. Well, I don't know if Carson Wentz will be good. You know what I mean? What Carson Wentz is going to show up. If he found himself, he's got Andy Reid coaching him. That's different than Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel doesn't get the best out of anybody. Okay. Mike McDaniel will blow smoke up your ass. He's not going to put you in a position to be successful. So that's the problem. Everybody will fail around Mike McDaniel. Big old question. Do you think Juju Smith would be a good fit for the Dolphins during the offseason? No, I don't. No, I don't. I do not, sir. But I will tell you this. The Falcons made a change. Kirk Cousins got benched. It's funny how this whole thing has developed, because at first we were like criticizing the Falcons for, why would you draft Michael Penix and now he's got to sit there for 3 years, right? That's stupid. And then remember, I also said to myself, well, hey, man, maybe they're doing the Green Bay thing. It keeps working for Green Bay. They had Aaron Rodgers sit for a few years, and it worked out. Jordan Love, they had him sit for a few years, and it's worked out. Maybe if you throw Jordan Love in there right away, he fails because he's not ready. He was really green. He got a few years to sit, kind of learn, develop, all that, and it's worked out for both guys. Maybe that's what Atlanta was going to do. Well, look what happened. The wheels have completely fallen off with Kirk Cousins. He's coming off an injury. He's old. Probably needed another year to kind of get his self in shape, but he doesn't have that. He's old. And all of a sudden, they're 7-7. In his last 5 games, he has 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions. They benched him. So Michael Penix, who may have had the Green Bay treatment for a couple of years, maybe that was their plan. They said, hey, man, why is it that everybody does this, that they throw the young guy to the fire right away? Well, let's do this. Let's bring in a veteran. Let's give him some time to develop. Maybe that was the plan. All of a sudden, plans change. So Penix wasn't thrown to the fire immediately. He's had 3/4 of a season for it to go by, and now he's going to get to start the final 3 games of the season. It's interesting. Now, surprising, probably. You would figure that Kirk Cousins could hang in to that job for another year or two, right? This year, next year, and then you start in that 3rd year where Michael Penix in the transition, right? So now things fall apart. Now what happens from here? Because you're paying him a lot of money, and he's going through a serious embarrassment at this point, and now he's going to get benched. So does he come back as your backup quarterback next year to Michael Penix? Is that a comfortable situation to be in? Is he going to be comfortable in that situation? Because he's going to be a backup now, an expensive backup, a mighty expensive backup. So what does Atlanta do now? Does Atlanta trade him? Does Atlanta cut him? I don't think they're going to cut him because the cap, we just talked about it. With the Dolphins, you just sign him to an enormous deal. Can you trade him? But then you're going to take a monster cap hit for the final 2 years that are left. You know, you were probably counting on maybe cutting him before that 3rd year, and then you can ease it. But now you've got 2 years remaining on that deal. That becomes much more difficult. So, Miami Dolphin fans, if the Atlanta Falcons are willing to pay a large portion of Kirk Cousins' salary because they don't want to keep him on the roster for the embarrassment and everything, and he's going to be uncomfortable and all of that, Miami needs a backup quarterback behind Tua Tagovailoa. If they're, Miami paid a portion of Ryan Tannehill's salary to move him to Tennessee to get the 4th rounder back. So, is Miami willing to take Kirk Cousins on, get him as a backup to Tua, and also take a pick in the process, because they'll take a little bit of a hit because they're going to have to pay a backup quarterback. So if you have to pay, let's say, 10 of the 30, because you're going to have to pay a backup quarterback, good one, 7, 8, 9, 10 million. So you pay Kirk Cousins 10, they pick up the rest and take the cap hit, and they give you a draft pick in the process. Again, I'm giving you stuff that is not going to make you happy, because you either want Greer, Allen, and McKenzie gone. You either want Greer, Allen, McKenzie, and McDaniel gone. You either want Greer, Allen, McKenzie, McDaniel, and Tua gone. So I don't know what boat you're in, but either way, you're not going to be happy, because all of that stuff is coming back. So like I told you, I'm not happy that McDaniel's coming back. So I said, if your McDaniel's going to come back, make Frank Smith the offensive coordinator. So what backup quarterback do you get? Again, spitting in the wind right now. There's nothing to this. I'm just coming up with a crazy ass scenario. Okay. I don't even know if Atlanta can accommodate that cap hit. Okay. Because I know that there's a rule where maybe they could get that final year and break it into multiple years, but I don't know how that whole rule works or whatever. So I know that they can kind of ease it a little bit. Exactly how, I don't know all the intricacies of it, but they might be able to do it that way. And that's a really uncomfortable situation. And Miami needs a backup quarterback, and there aren't a lot of good ones out there. And Kirk Cousins as a backup quarterback might be a good scenario. I wouldn't want him as my starter. Never really been a big Kirk Cousins guy. I didn't mind him coming out of college in the 4th round. I thought that was and it was a good pick. Now, as a starting franchise quarterback, like top tier, yeah, I don't look at him that way. He's done a good job overall, but those turnovers, that's the thing that's always scared me of him. But as a backup, just saying, that could be an option. Tyreek isn't getting faster. Thanks for the obvious. But everybody else, take a back seat on that one. Let's see. Finns need to restructure if they want to sign a free agent. Yeah, but then that also latches you on longer to certain players. So sometimes you got to pull the Band-Aid and maybe not, so you can get out of those deals faster too. Bring the astronaut Josh Dobbs. That could be an option if he's available. I don't know. Did he sign a multi-year deal or a 1-year deal? Not exactly sure. What the hell happened to Ethan Bonner? What has Ethan Bonner done? He played well in a training camp? That doesn't mean anything, bro. You should learn that by now. When he plays well in the regular season and starts doing things on a consistent basis, then you can feel good about him. But, it was a nice noise in training camp, but not much else. What else do we have here? Rojas says, "Oh, love you, bro. Some days you're hard to love because you're cranky and mean, but I understand this speech you gave about fans right now. I'm not lying. You made me tear up. You really expressed the plight of a fan. That's because I'm a fan, butt wipe." Let's see. Some of y'all act like trades happen in real life like they do in Madden. Exactly, Aaron. Oh, man. Big O, never say it's impossible. Remember, the Broncos cut. Yeah, I know, but they're taking brutal cap hits, but they're in the middle of a restructure of the entire franchise. That's not what the Dolphins are at. They're not in the middle of a complete restructure. They did that already a couple years ago. They're in the middle of trying to win. So they're tied to a whole bunch of contracts, not just one. The Broncos had a massive contract on their thing that they had to get out of. Once they got the new coach, they knew they were going to do that because he was dead set on getting rid of the guy. And remember, it was a couple of years into that deal already. I believe, I want to say, Sean, was he there 2 or 3 years in the Broncos? So, you know what I mean? Like the Tua deal starts next year is the first year. The Waddle deal, next year is the first year of that deal. They're all playing on their old deals. You understand there's a huge difference. But I want to say Russell Wilson was at least 2 to 3 years already in Denver with that big ass contract. So, and they still took monster cap hits, and you know they got to get out of it. But this one hasn't even started yet. That's bad, dude. It's bad. That's why the Tyreek thing, I said they're now stuck with him for 2 out of the 3 years that they guaranteed, this year, next year, and then they have a window. Yes, sir.
He was with them 22 and 23.
So 2 years. So usually the 3rd and 4th years on contracts is when you can start to move out of those deals. That's why they did it. They couldn't do it right when Peyton got there. They had to deal with it for 1 more year. So completely different scenario. So I will go with, I think it's impossible to move to and Waddle next year and Ramsey next year. Yeah, I think it's impossible. I do. What else do we have? Big O, as soon as I knew they were bringing back McDaniel, I knew the season was over. I've been a fan since I was 8, and I'm now 51. All those years of losing. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Next year, all the games should start at 1 p.m. No more late night games. Sean and I would love that because with McDaniel, I have pretty much no hope for next season. Nobody can win with that guy as your head coach. And especially the play caller. Oh, that's why I'm, at least maybe with Frank Smith might give me, I can try to convince myself to have some hope. Adriad, spend the money on those responsible for making roster and development roster instead of the cosmetics of the stadium. I wish so, man. Marino era Finn's defense sucked. Shula refused to fire Olivedati. Yeah. And he could never fix the running game and all that. It sucks. Emilio says, Big O, Dolphin fans could have used Superman from Planet Krypton back there. They would still complain that the quarterback isn't good enough. Yeah. And it wasn't Marino's fault. And poor Marino, all the biggest moments in his life with the Dolphins are an absolute disaster. Every big game he ever played was pretty much a disaster because his teams were never good enough to take on the juggernauts. Every time his team faced juggernauts, they got their asses kicked. And that was Dan Marino. So Matty Camacho says, you like Finside the NFL? I don't. What is Finside the NFL? I have no idea what that is. What is Finside the NFL? I don't know what that is. Cy Laval, thank you, sir, for the super chat. By the way, Maddie, thank you for the super chat. When people talk about the best QB ever, Marino's name comes up. Although Kelly was a fine QB, he still dominated us. Almost like your team. It's almost like your team matters. Exactly. Marino could do anything Kelly could do, and all those guys except run around. Obviously, he wasn't that kind of an athlete. But Marino didn't have the teams, dude. Kelly had a team. Marino never had that. Matty Camacho says, do you model your personality after the Grinch? Yes, I do. I do. And the Dolphins make me a Grinch every year. It's kind of what it is. Yes, sir.
Looks like Finside the NFL's podcast as well.
Oh, okay. Who is it? I don't even know who that is. I may not know the names. I might know the person or something. I don't even know who it is. Who's the Finside one? Anyway. Let's see. Thank you, True Fin fan. Appreciate you, my brother, on the Cash App. For the Lions are better than us. The Lions shaking my head. Yes, sir. Shaking my damn head. Yes, sir.
Reason.
What'd you say? Oh, he's a good dude, bro. Doesn't he do it with Richmond Webb? Yeah. They do a good job, bro. Yeah, Reason's a good dude. Although I think he invited me on his podcast, but I think he wanted me to do like he does that 4-person thing with, different writers or podcasters and all that. And I told them no. I told them, yeah, I'll come on your show, but I don't want to do any of that panel shit. If you want to do some you and me, that's great. And then he didn't call me back after that. So I think it was more about he wanted me on one of those silly panels that I didn't want to be a part of, So I wasn't going to sit there and, go at it with 3 other people. That's not what I feel like doing. So it's not my style. But so it was kind of funny because at first he told me, hey, yeah, sure, dude, I'll join you anytime. He's a good dude. But then I didn't get a call back. I go, oh, I think he wanted me to do that roundtable shit. Since I didn't do the roundtable, he didn't do it. Let's see. Stephen Harris says, Big O, not trying to be funny. The Dolphins are softer than the Pillsbury Doughboy. Poke their belly and they giggle. Yes, that's exactly who they are. Thank you. Thank you, Ty in the Bronx, for the super chat. Appreciate you, my brother. Bills were dominant because of Bill Polian. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, they were. No doubt about that. Hateful Steve is in the house. Oh, who plays better in other eras? Tua playing in Marino's era, Marino play? No, not even close. It's not even close. Tua is not Marino. Breeze is not Marino. Those kind of guys cannot do what Marino did in that era with half a line, no running game, and no defense. No. No, I never compared Tua to Marino, ever. We'll never do that. It's not even close. Marino is a freak passer that we've never seen before in our lives. We will never, ever see again. Freak passer. Completely freak. But he can only do so much. And if you didn't give him a defense or a running game, he wasn't going to be able to hang with Jim Kelly. He wasn't going to hang with Joe Montana. Like I said, Steve, look at all the big moments for Marino. They're all failures, pretty much. Like 85% of them are failures. Utter failures. And it's not his fault. Just the way it is. And these people here don't understand that you've got to build a mammoth line in front of this kid, like you did with Breeze, like you did with Tom Brady. You got to be able to run the ball like you did with Breeze, like you did with Brady, like you did with Greasy. Protect and run the ball. And then you should have a really good defense, which they did with all of those people. These are all quarterbacks that are unathletic. These are quarterbacks that are just passers, just like Tua. But these people are putting him in a position where he has to do more. That's not who he is. He's not Josh Allen. He's not going to run around. He's not Ben Roethlisberger that can stand back there and hold the ball for 5 seconds and take a beating. He will die. So will Breeze. So will Greasy. So will Brady. They will all die if they have to do that. So protect them. They gave Brady the greatest offensive line coach in the history of the NFL, and he constantly produced a line that kept him clean. That's just the way it goes. That's what you do with Breeze, but they don't do that with Tua. And that's just what it is. It is poorly constructed. And that's why Tua is not maximizing who he is, because they have not built it the right way around him. It's pretty simple. It's really not that hard to figure it out. And if your team is bad and you can't score and you can't run the ball and you're running for 2.5 yards and your defense doesn't stop people at times, I know they played well this weekend, but more often than not, you've been giving up a ton of points, and then puts him in a position where the idiot all of a sudden thinks he has to run, has to take on tacklers, has to tackle somebody. And that makes it even worse for him, because he can't do any of that anyway. It's pretty simple, dude. It's really not that hard to figure out what's going on. It's just, it seems like it's impossible for them to figure out how to put it together. You know, you had the team in, if you watch what you saw in Alabama, that's what you had to build here. Build a real offensive, the line we've all wanted since the 70s that we've never had, not even with Webb and Sims. They were never a running team, even with Webb and Sims. They were a pass blocking team, period. Haven't had that since the 70s. So it doesn't matter who it is here, you're going to struggle. Now, is Marino going to get a little bit more? Yeah, but is he going to win anything? No, he's not, because he couldn't win anything with Shula on the sidelines. Not McDaniel, Shula. He had Duper Clayton, not Tyreek and what? You idiots that, not you, Hateful Steve, because you would never do something that stupid. But, you idiots that wanted to compare Tyreek and Waddle to Clayton and Duper. You idiots out there. By the way, we have 253 people. The Scrooge would like to find out. Come on, idiots. Come on. Have some balls. Admit, out of the 253, please raise your hand and say, hey, I'll admit I'm one of those idiots that thought that Tyreek and Waddle were right up there. Right up there. Forget better. If you said better, please raise your hand and say you're stupid. But even if you thought they were in the same neighborhood or right up there or anywhere close to them, please just admit you're stupid. There's 248 of you. There's a bunch of you morons there. Come on. Say it. Let's go. I'm waiting. 248. Come on. So there we go. You got to build it right. They don't build it right, Steve. And, I can't help the front office. I can't help the coach. I can't help the owner. I can't help the Dolphins. I know what I'm watching. He's a guy that would go somewhere else and they'd know how to build it and they'd have success with him. Ray Martinez, thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. Thank you. Happy Wednesday. Great dip. Take advantage. Look out for XRP for the Dolphins. No comment. That's a season ticket holder right there. Okay? It's not a happy season ticket holder right there. You can bet your ass on that. Not a happy season ticket holder. And I don't blame him. He shouldn't be happy. None of us should be happy. Anyway, if a Dolphins fan, not a Tua fan, just one player fan at all, but I believe we can win with Tua and our shortcomings are not his fault. We need better choices from the front office. That's fair. You got to build up the offensive line. You got to have a more dedicated attitude to the running game. This is the way you win with this kid. You can't put him in a Marino position and you can't put him in a Josh Allen position. You got to put him in a Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Bob Greasy-like position. Okay? That's what you do with statues. When you have guys that aren't necessarily runners, they're not real big athletes, okay? They're smart guys, they're accurate guys, that's what they do. Protect them run the ball, and they'll do their thing. Tua can do all those things. But if you're going to put more on his plate, that's not who he is, bro. It's not who he is. So that's all. Did you see Tyreek Hill post about, hey, coach, it's time for him to go? Or what a cancer. Did he do that for real? Did Tyreek say that coach needs to go? Did you see that? I didn't see that, so I don't know. Omar, apologies, but I pretty much, on average, like 98% of you, I would never believe the stuff that you tell me. Because most of you really don't do your homework. Most of you are lazy. You take it secondhand. You take some Facebook post that someone passed to you that was edited or, whatever, and then you take it as fact. And it's not really like from that person. You didn't really go to Tyreek's side and get it or whatever. This might be real, but on average, that's what would be the case. That Tyreek never really posted it. And it's really not, because right now Sean is on his site looking for it specifically. Okay, because if he said it, it would be on his site, right? So
it's on his X.
It's on his X? Give it to him.
He just tweets out, it's time for me to go, coach.
Oh, it's time for me to go, coach?
It's time for me to go, coach, is all he says.
Oh, him. Oh, not the coach.
Yeah, I think it's like time to let me go. Like let me.
It's time.
Throw the ball to me every time. Is the only thing I can think of.
Well,
and he said I might get my first gray hair this year.
Well, what can I tell you about Tyreek? If it was up to me, he would be playing his last couple of games here. But it's not up to me, dude. So, I let my shit be known from the get-go. And I know more than I can say. So, how they gave him guarantees is beyond me. Knowing what they know, knowing what I know, it's the weirdest thing. It really is. One day I will have a bomb for you guys that I don't understand it, to be quite honest. Don't understand it at all. Don't understand it at all. So, but I'm not surprised. Anything with Tyreek, I'm not surprised. So. Let's see. I'm a Freddie Solomon, Duriel Harris guy. There you go, Chuck. You've been suffering for a while. I'll take Clayton Duper and Jim Jensen all day. No, but that was funny. The prisoners of the moment with Tyreek and Waddle. Oh yeah, no, they're there with Clayton and Duper. It's like you people didn't really watch Clayton and Duper. You have no idea what you're talking about. O-line was horrible, no doubt about it, says DTalk 90, but for $54 million a year, no thanks. The lows are too low and the highs are too high enough for Tua. We've got too many problems and not enough cap space. Let's see. Big O, where is Tua on your top QB list? I don't know, bro. All I know is he's easily top 10, and I could easily win a few Super Bowls with him. But if you don't build it right, you're not going to win jack shit. You could win with Archie Manning, but if you don't build it right, you can win a bunch of Super Bowls with Dan Marino. But if you don't build it right, you can win a Super Bowl with Steve Bartkowski. You probably have no idea who that is. But if you end up on a shit team and you can't build it right, Bartkowski will never have a chance to win a championship. And it's not that he didn't have the talent. If you can win a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer or Peyton Manning that can't throw for 10 yards, you could easily win with Tua. If you can win with Brad Johnson, you could easily win with Tua. But you got to have a team, dude. You know what I mean? Nobody wins a Super Bowl just because you have a quarterback. If that was the case, morons, we would have a whole bunch of championships with Marino. It's like you want Tua to win it all, but he doesn't have a team or a coach. But then you watch Marino, and he couldn't win shit. Couldn't win anything. Didn't win anything. Made one fraudulent trip to the Super Bowl because the AFC is fraudulent. Again, go do your homework. From 85 to 95, from 82 or 83 or whatever, to all the way into the mid-90s, the NFC just dominated, dude. Dominated. It wasn't even close. It was pathetic how bad the AFC was. So the little success that they had, when they got to the playoffs, and then that one year they snuck out there to the Super Bowl, they got thoroughly embarrassed. It's like Dolphin fans, some of you are young, so you don't know. Those of you that are old, you forgot. So you say you need the quarterback, but you had the quarterback, but you didn't have the team. Now you have a quarterback, but you don't have a team, but you blame it on the quarterback. It's some funny shit, dude. It really is. Big O, would you let Mostert go? Lucas, you need to rewind. They asked me that already. It's all there. I went through the whole roster. It's early, very early in the show. Joseph says, I'm one of the oldest fans here. Tua's not the issue, period. Tua haters don't get it. Yep. No, if you just put Marino on this team, we'll win it all. That's all. Marino and, bro, they'll take down the Bills, the Chiefs. With this same team, we put Marino on it and we take them all down. That's it. That's it. Anyway. Maddie says, you don't know ball. Tua's a limited hack. Yeah, well, he has a lot more than Peyton Manning did in his last Super Bowl. Big O, I know you said in 82, Don Strock and David Woodley took him to the Super Bowl with the Killer Bees. Yeah, exactly. And then what happened? Fraudulent AFC. They finally get there, and then they run into a real team in Washington. And by the way, we also were helped by a strike. I believe it was 5 games, I want to say, Sean, in the strike. I want to say they went 4-1 in that strike. Shula, obviously, the best coach out there. He can just coach anything. But, but we were helped by a strike, and by the time we really got there, we were frauds, dude. Frauds. We just got there because Shula's a hell of a coach. You know, Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler got to the finals. Great job, great coaching. Then they ran into Denver. And you belong nowhere near that court. So you got through a couple teams in the East because you got breaks. They were injured, whatever. Oh, we made a run. Yeah, it was great. It was fun, but it wasn't real. But Heat fans make it more real than what it really was. And they actually think that's who they are, and they're not. And then they had the bubble thing, and then they think that's who they are, and they're not. And this is kind of the same thing. Oh, no, it's too. No, if we had a better court, we'd win it all. No, that's not true. You're still not winning challenges. You're still not winning at the line of scrimmage. You're still not running the ball. You still don't have a great defense. You still don't have a great coach. You know, it's just silly shit, dude. We do silly shit as fans, and we convince ourselves of stuff that is just not the reality. So, is Big O just tired of the Dolphin fans as he is of the Dolphins? No. I mean, with fans are fans. So I kind of expect some nuttiness from you people. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're fans. You're fanatical. So I expect that kind of stuff. I expect you to tell me, Waddle and Tyreek are Clayton and Duper. I expect that kind of stuff. That's it's prisoner of the moment stuff. This happens all the time. That's how it is. The Butler stuff too, because I looked at the run for what it really is. A lot of Heat fans didn't look at the run for what it really is. They thought they were better. They thought they were actually real contenders or something. Like, it's silly shit. And then, oh, no, we can't trade Butler. No, bro, this was fraudulent what you saw. It's just great coaching. Shit fell into place. You got there. You're really not that good. You're really not a finalist. Right now is the time to trade Butler. And then prisoner of the moment shit. Because you get caught up in it and you think this is what you are and you're not. So it's the other extreme. And then it's the same thing with Tua. You think he's the worst thing since sliced bread and he's the reason why you're not winning or whatever. And no, you're completely wrong. He's not even close to your issues. Your issues are much more all around him, whether it's the poor construction of the team or the poor coaching of the team, but you have not built the right team around the quarterback at all. And those are facts. And so if you expect that kind of quarterback to overcome all your deficiencies, then you don't know how to build the team the right way. And that's where the criticism of the front office is absolutely legit. And I can't defend that part as much as I like the guys. All right? Can't defend it. And I can't defend Mike McDaniel, who never helps when those situations arise when you are running the ball. And he doesn't have as a run coordinator, he never came here with the attitude of, first and foremost, we're going to run the ball. Because that's what you're supposed to do. That's the foundation of every offense that's successful in the NFL that wins a championship. They run the football. 99% of the time, they are going to run the football. And then they will build off of that. This coach does not want to do that. And I don't get it. And on top of that, with the quarterback you have, it's imperative that you run that way. And yet he still doesn't do it. So, doesn't matter. It is what it is. And you know what you get tired of? Repeating this stuff over and over and over and over again. That's what you get tired of. Yeah. And yeah, am I tired of the Dolphins season like this? Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. I'm human, dude. You know what I mean? And if I could get tired of some fans out there, my brother, you haven't done this for 34 years. You know what I'm saying? Dwill, you haven't done this for 34 years. I have. So I've done it in different decades with different generations. And so, yeah, you get tired of it. For sure you get tired of it because I'm a human being. See? You're just some punk sitting behind a keyboard throwing out a couple of lines with some smiley faces. See? Different ball game. You're the one tuning in here. I'm not tuning in to you. Get it? Got it? Good. Let's see. What else do we have? Joe Gibbs was a real coach. He took mediocre QBs and made them champions. Tua is better than Mark Rippon. He's better than Doug Williams. He's better than Joe Theismann. He's better than all three quarterbacks. Better passer than all three of them will ever be. But Joe Gibbs built a team. He built a team that he made the quarterback interchangeable. That's why Joe Gibbs, as I've always said, the undefeated season is not the greatest feat ever by a coach. It's Joe Gibbs. It's 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. Nobody will ever do that. Nobody will ever come close to doing that. The guy won 3 Super Bowls, and none of them were Hall of Fame quarterbacks. That's impressive because he built teams. You know what I mean? I mean, Joe Gibbs is such a monster. Look what he's done in auto racing, building teams. You know, that's a guy that understands it. So, yes, I would agree with you. Joe Gibbs there's nothing like him. You know, there's nothing like him. He really understood football. He had a concept of how to build a team to make the job for the quarterback, like just facilitate what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to carry the entire team and the weight of the world on you, because that's how it ends, like with Marino. It ends badly. When you put the weight of the world on the quarterback, Dan Fouts and Dan Marino, John Elway before the 90s. John Elway was called the choker and all that stuff. He would lose 55-10 and all. He would get dogged in Super Bowl. Well, he was in the era, notice, I would tell you the early 80s to the mid-90s. And then from the mid-90s on, that's when Denver took over. That's when they won. That was the start of when the AFC started to have some success, actually, in Super Bowls. That was the end of the NFC era, actually, when John Elway finally had a defense and a running game. But when he didn't have a defense and a running game, he ended up just like Marino. Couldn't win big moments. They would get trucked because he didn't have the team. And it wasn't because Elway wasn't great. Anybody who would watch Elway would see him throw the ball around, and he was a fantastic player. But got to have the team, dude. Got to have the team. And we're not even close to having a team here. Not even close. It's a shame. It really is a shame. But this is the criticism that they're going to get, and everybody deserves that criticism right now, unfortunately. Hateful Steve again on Venmo. Thank you, sir, for the love. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. We tell you that because we get 100% of the donations. We appreciate the super chats, but we only get 70% there because stinking YouTube takes 30. Hateful Steve says, okay, so let me ask you this. Is it easier to find a QB that can win with less, or build an entire team around a guy that needs more help? Because given our back office history, I don't know if we will ever be capable of creating a complete team. So who wins without a complete team, Steve? What champion was not a complete team? I'm sorry, I must have missed that. When the Ravens won with Trent Dilfer, they weren't complete. When Denver won with Peyton Manning, they can only throw for 10 yards, they weren't complete. So what happened when Pat Mahomes didn't have an offensive line and he got his ass kicked? Oh, they weren't complete. And then they went back and got the offensive. Steve, if you can't build the team, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. Joe Montana didn't win by himself, Steve. Tom Brady didn't win by himself. He had a defense. He had a run game. He had an offensive line. His receivers weren't great. That's one thing that you gave. He had great tight ends, but he never had great receivers. The one year he had a great receiver, he didn't win it. You win it because defense. That first year for Brady and Ben Roethlisberger, they barely did anything. They just didn't lose games. They were carried by a team. The Chiefs are a team. You don't win without Chris Jones in that secondary. That's who's carried Mahomes last year and this year. Last 2 years, Steve, the Chiefs are carried by Chris Jones and the defense. Mahomes and company do enough to help win. But the defense is the reason why you're winning in Kansas City right now. I'm not sure what you're watching, dude. I'm sorry. I must have missed the years where a team was carried by just a quarterback and didn't have a team. Damn, dude. Please explain that one to me. Who did the Pittsburgh Steelers do that? Was it all Terry Bradshaw? Well, I'm sorry. Was it all Ben Roethlisberger? I must have missed that, Steve. Wait a minute. Was it Troy Aikman that carried the whole team? Interesting, Steve. It's interesting. I didn't know that people didn't build teams and they just got a quarterback and then the quarterback carried you all the way without a team. Wow, what a concept. Hateful Steve just came up with a new way to win in the NFL. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Apparently, according to Steve, it's an old way. Everybody in the NFL wins without a team. Wow, dude. Holy shit, dude. You learn something every day. Did you know that, Sean? That you can win Super Bowls without a team? All you need is a quarterback. Wow. Man, if only we had one guy to carry us all the way. If only we had one guy. I mean, because, we've never had that one guy that's a freak. Because if we had that one guy, oh, my God, we would win so many titles if we had that guy. You don't really need a team when you have that guy. According to Steve, I mean, how are you going to win? Oh, if you can't build a team and you can't get that guy, how are you going to win? Because everybody else wins with the guy without the team. Everyone. I mean, it happens all the time. It was Jim McMahon that carried the Bears to their only Super Bowl. That defense and the running game and no, please. No. Come on. It was all greasy. It wasn't Zonka Kick Morris. Larry Little and those guys. Are you kidding me? Jim Langer? He didn't have shit to do with that. Jake Scott? Manny Fernandez? Bonacani? Those people had nothing to do with that championship. Nothing. Ask Steve. It was all greasy. You couldn't get your hands on him. He just slippery. It's easier to find a QB that can win with less or build an entire team around a guy that needs more help. Yeah. That really made a lot of sense, Steve. Yeah. Made a lot of sense, bro. Oh, my God. Poor Craig Morton and the 78 Broncos. Hey, you don't mess with the Orange Crush. All right, buddy? Carl Mecklenburg, you don't need him. Who needs Carl Mecklenburg? Let's see what else. Brady and Mahomes hardly ever tossed interceptions in their runs. It's a team game, but the offense rarely cost them the game. You need a team, bro. You need a team. Go check out Marino's stats. Bunch of interceptions on there. Whole bunch of interceptions. Why? Guess what he had to do? He had to force the issue. That's what happens, my brother. I watched it with Marino. You probably are too young with that, so you didn't live it, no perspective. But I saw a lot of that with Marino. There were games where he threw a bunch of interceptions. The guy was trying because he knew on the other side his team wasn't going to do shit. He knew that opponent was going to score. So he knew he had to drive for 7, and sometimes he would force it. And there were days that he had bad days and threw bad interceptions. Marino got benched a couple times because it just wasn't his day. Yeah. In today's world, it becomes like the biggest thing in the world and all that with Tua, and it becomes this drama and soap opera. I think I saw Marino get benched probably 3-4 times. that he was playing so poorly, forced the ball so many times. But back then, we were smart. We understood, like, well, dude, his defense sucks. He's trying, whatever. But we had the fans who were like, oh, man, Marino choked and this and that. We have the fans to this day that are old that'll say, oh, Marino, no, he's not the guy. We have fans like that. They exist. As time has gone on, I think some of them have kind of figured it out, but others still haven't figured it out. You still have that fan that I'm seeing with Tua. It's the same thing with Marino. There were people that would pick on Marino too, by the way, and didn't understand that the guy had to go balls out and he was going to take risks. And unfortunately, those risks weren't going to pay off all the time. But hey, it's all right, bro. I get it. A lot of you have short-term memories and you don't remember. And so you put people on a pedestal so perfect when they weren't that perfect because they were put in a very difficult situation. And Marino was constantly in a difficult situation because he was constantly in shootouts with teams when he didn't have to be in shootouts, even with bad teams. And it's just it wasn't his fault. I would never blame anything on Marino. Nothing. It's just everything around him, and I blame Shula for it, was handled poorly. Just like you're not building it around Tua the right way, you're not building around Marino the right way. Broken record. Definitely not easy to find a QB that can win with less. We've been trying to do that for 20 plus years. That's not what you do. It's not what you do. You build a team. Your quarterback is supposed to be the facilitator. That's it. That's how you win. But you got to build the team, man. It's really a team game, dude. It just is. Bro, if I recall correctly, you were on the Tua bandwagon, and I am not off of it. Anybody say I'm off of it or something? Again. Earl Morrall was the NFL MVP and led the Colts to a Super Bowl victory and loss. Yeah. Shit happens, dude. Tua's a straight killer, a wide receiver, that is. I've been saying this for a while now. Tua puts his receivers' lives on the line. Marino and Ken O'Brien had great shootouts. We mainly lost, though. But think about that. Just think about that. Marino and Ken O'Brien had great shootouts. Listen to that statement. Okay? That's an oxymoron. That's a bad franchise having a shootout with another bad franchise. Because that's what the Dolphins were, a bad franchise. Because there's no reason a bad franchise like the Jets should be in a shootout with you. But because you have no defense and no running game, this is what's said. That those shootouts are like the modern day Miami Miracle. You know what I'm saying? It's when you really look at it, like, why are they giving us this much trouble? Well, because we're a joke on defense. We're a joke in the running game. Is Von Schaman going to make it this week? Did Stoyle lose it? Whatever. We have no returner. Is Miller just going to Scott Miller? Was it? What was the name of that returner that Shula had? That he had him for like 2 years. Everybody complained because he couldn't make a damn return. Little white guy, he could catch the ball, and that's how Shula would defend it. Well, I know he's not going to fumble, and I could count on him to catch it. I think his name was like Scott Miller or something. And it was like for 2 years we had Scott Miller here. I think it was Scott Miller. And he sucked at returning, but he could catch the ball. That was our team. This is the kind of shit that we lived. This is the kind of shit we've been living through for 40 years. Those of us that have memories, those of us that want to remember exactly what we thoroughly have gone through from then till now, that nothing's really changed. The names and the faces change, but the same organization exists. It's funny, dude. It's funny. It was Scott Miller, Mountain Man. I'm right. It's hard to remember all this shit. You know what I mean? I try my best to remember all this stuff. No. Hey. Cephalo was good. Okay. Cephalo is a good player, man. Cephalo is a solid possession receiver. Okay. Solid possession receiver. Very good hands. You know, Joe Rose, I know Joe will joke about himself and all that, but Joe was a solid football player. He had terrific hands. You know, Dan Johnson wasn't this outstanding stud, but he had great hands. Bruce Hardy. You know, I'll tell you this. Shula got guys that had hands. Okay? All right? Outside of you, James, you blew it, Pruitt, most everybody else had pretty much hands. You know what I'm saying? So the Scott Miller thing was funny because he was terrible at returning. And it was like a rut that they were in for a couple years where they couldn't get a really good returner, a good punt returner, but they kept Scott around because he would definitely never drop the ball. You know, he'd get you a 3-yard return, but he wouldn't drop the ball. And so Shula just wanted the peace of mind that the ball wasn't going to be on the ground, because if you fumbled, if you had a turnover, Shula would lose his effing mind. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, all right, guys, you'll get him the next time. That's not Shula. It's not Shula. Oh, man. Because it's a team game, what's the difference between Tua and Messi? Oh, my God, a huge difference. Huge difference. Calendar's better than the entire defense that they have already as it is. You know, and Messi had the best team in the league. Are the Dolphins the best team in the league, Rosendo? Let me wait on that. Are the Dolphins the best team in the league? They're not even the best team in their division. Inter Miami was the best team in the league by miles. By miles, they were the best team in the league. And Messi had 2 months of rest before the playoffs, and the guy lost to the worst and lowest seed in the playoffs. Oh, God, there's a huge difference. Rosendo, you couldn't have made a worse comparison, dude. Messi's team is one of the greatest teams in MLS history. Okay? If it's not one, it might be 2 or 3. The choke job of Messi is as big as Vinny Testaverde and Jimmy Johnson. Okay? It's as big as LeBron James, the Heat against the Dallas Mavericks. Please don't ever compare what Messi did last year to anything that's going on with the Dolphins right now, because the Dolphins aren't a good franchise. You know what I mean? So how do I expect it? They're not great. These people were the best of the best. They have 4 international players. All we hear international fans say, and with reason, the MLS ain't shit. They're right. Premiership, Bundesliga, Serie A, they're all way better. But it's funny how they're way better, but yet a stacked-ass team with 4 stars, the best player in the world, they can't even get out of the first round of the MLS. That's embarrassing, bro. So please don't ever do that, Rosendo. Messi's choke job is one of the biggest chokers in South Florida sports history. Outside of South Florida sports, Messi is one of the greatest competitors of all time. He is the greatest soccer player, second best, third, whatever you want to do with Pele, Maradona, in that stupid argument, whatever, you're splitting hairs. But in South Florida history, my brother, okay, Rosendo, in South Florida history, it's all that matters right now. He's in South Florida. He should know he's right up there with Vinny Testaverde. Okay? He is right up there as one of the greatest chokers in the history of South Florida sports. He is a choking dog of dogs. All right? I mean, the Dolphins have never lost when they were the best. You do know that, right, Rosendo? That was back in the 70s. That's when they were the best. When they got there in 82, I just told you they weren't the best. They weren't even belonging there. And when they went to 85, as I told you, they didn't belong there. And ever since, they've never been the best at anything, Rosendo, in the NFL. They've never been the best team. So it's a horrible comparison on your part, dude. Inter Miami had the best team, not just this year, but maybe in the history of the entire league. Huge difference, dude. Huge difference. Terrible comparison. Oh, my God. Terrible comparison. But you probably don't follow soccer. Anyway, Big O, how in the world is Danny Crossman still employed? I have no idea. Zero idea. Inter Miami was never beating anything on the Western Coast. Yeah, whatever. Let's see. Tua Waddle Hill, what a thrill. An amazing thrill. It was Scott Schwades who returned punch for Shula. I'm a little behind on he did that too also. That's another one. But I'm pretty sure it was Scott Miller, the guy that was like a sore subject for 2 years. Messi choke worse than Homer chokes. Yeah, it's right there. Messi is the greatest choker. I'm always going to put Vinny Testaverde as the number one choker of all time because he threw 9 interceptions in the 2 biggest bowl games of his life. So Vinny holds a special spot in my heart for the top choker in South Florida sports because I don't think I've ever seen a bigger choker in my life than Vinny Testaverde. I mean, we talk about a guy that folds under pressure. Wow, it's pretty disgusting. But Messi's right up there, dude. He's right there. He's fighting LeBron with what's his name? JJ Barea posting his ass up. My God. Inter Miami believed they could walk to the MLS Cup with awful defense. Yeah, whatever, bro. Awful defense, offense that didn't produce enough, whatever. They didn't get out of the first round against a bad opponent, dude. You want to give me that they get to the MLS Cup and they lose? Okay, we'll deal with that. Brother, they couldn't get out of the first round against Atlanta. Atlanta owned them during the regular season. They beat Messi 3-1. So what they did in the playoffs was not flukish. They did it to Messi in the regular season. And by the way, Atlanta now has our GM. Okay, Chris Henderson. And for those of you, if you think Moss did the right thing, no. He made a monster mistake. Okay, Chris Henderson probably wanted the hell out of here because he was just, those guys are just worried about getting those international players, and then they're catering to everything Messi wants. Messi's bringing his own coach. All that stuff is disastrous. So he left, and he goes to Atlanta. Watch Atlanta get better. I mean, Messi better win it next year, dude. Stop building teams with injured superstars. It's a fair criticism. Too many injuries. That's right. Let's see. You have a new day choker in Tua. Never mind, Tua can't get to the big game to choke. We're going to waste our time with Greer and McDaniel remaining with the team to 2025. We'll look forward to the end of 2025 and hope we'll both be can. All right, well, we'll see you in 2026, Kevin. Oh, my vote for Crossman to be head coach. Hey, Josh, that might be an improvement. He might be a better head coach than McDaniel, and McDaniel might be a better special teams coach. Bring back Sammy Smith. So he can fumble at the goal line twice. Messi will bring another pal. I won't be shocked if they bring Neymar. They should bring 4 more superstars for Messi so he can get through the MLS season. Anyway, Dolphins, by the way, signed Skylar Thompson to the practice squad. They placed Grant Dubose on the IR. The poor kid is still in the Houston hospital. At least he's moving his extremities and he's making progress. So it's just probably a matter of going through, the whole process of him getting cleared, and then looks like he's headed in the right direction at least. So that's good. They signed Isaiah McKenzie, the wide receiver, former Bill, to the practice squad. What else? They signed long snapper Jake McQuaid to the 53-man roster. So those were the moves they made. They moved the Dolphins-Browns game to 4:05, which is good, but not good enough. Dolphins are only favored by 1 now against the Niners. It started at 2.5 on Monday, 1.5 yesterday, 1 today. So it's gone down. Over and under is 44.5. Yankees yesterday, they end up signing Cody Bellinger. Trading for Cody Bellinger and cash. And the Falcons bench Kirk Cousins. Crazy shit, dude. Crazy shit. By the way, I saw yesterday, I have not seen the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction show yet. I don't know why I haven't set it to record or whatever on HBO, but I ran into the Ozzy Osbourne induction part. And I saw Jack Black induct him and all that, and he was phenomenal, as you would expect Jack Black to be. And it's funny him talking about, as a 13-year-old kid, learning about Ozzy, Blizzard of Oz, how some guy in a record store turned him on to it because he was there to go buy some Rush or Journey or something, and then some guy told him, no, you got to get Ozzy. And he had didn't know anything about Ozzy, didn't know anything about Black Sabbath or anything. So first he put in Ozzy, and he was blown away, and then learned about it. He told the whole story, and it was really, really good. And then they brought on a bunch of acts that played 3 different Ozzy songs. And Jelly Roll, right? That's the name of the guy, the country guy, right? Jelly Roll. He looks like a likable dude, by the way. Every time I see him, I don't know anything about his music or anything, to be quite honest. But every time I see him somewhere and being interviewed, he's such a likable character, by the way. And I think he's gone through hell and back, right? He's had some personal issues, personal demons and all that he's had to fight. I think he had alcoholism and all that. So God bless him. He's been able to fight all that. But really likable dude. And he sung No More Tears. He did a terrific job, by the way. I mean, everybody, Billy Idol also sung a song. And who was the other actually the first guy that sung, I don't know who it was. I couldn't tell who that was, actually. If somebody has watched that, who was the first singer that sung the first song for Ozzy? I forgot. I don't know who that was, actually. My bad. I don't know what band that guy was from. But anyway, so I just ran into it last night. And Jelly Roll did a really nice job, dude. I never expected that, When I saw Jelly Roll out there, I'm like, whoa. Sometimes they throw you off with certain artists to sing something, But Jelly Roll did a really nice job, man. That was really cool. It was really cool. And you feel bad for Ozzy because, God, so that bike accident for him, man, that completely changed his life. Life is like that, isn't it? It's weird. It could change at any moment for any of us. One little thing can change everything for us, man. It is devastating. People, as we get older and people fall and they hurt themselves seriously, and it changes, and this is what happened to him. And he suffered that neck damage, and the surgery was completely off, and he was, sitting in the chair accepting it, and it just is sad, man. Sad. But it was a really nice whole thing, and they took way too long. They should have inducted Ozzy Osbourne years ago. But whatever. It is what it is. But great job, man, because he has done so much for music. It's just ridiculous. Let's see. I have 4 to 5 untouchables on the Dolphins, which is horrible to say after all the investments. There's a lot of untouchables because there's a lot of salaries you can't touch, dude. Please don't let Greer pick in the upcoming draft. Well, they are the front office, and they will pick, my man. It's definitely time for the front office change for the Dolphins. Well, yep, that's not going to happen. So I know it'll be a broken record, and we'll keep hearing it from everybody. Would be ideal to fire Greer now, hire the guy you want at GM so they can evaluate the team, coaches, staff for the next few weeks, then clean house. That's what you would normally think, but that's not what's going to happen. So everybody's tied down here. Everybody got new contracts. Personnel department got new contracts. Head coach got new contracts. And a whole bunch of top line players just got new deals. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. So they're going to try to tweak. They're going to try to fix the roster however they can, whatever they can do. So the faster you all get over it, then you can deal with it or don't and move on and don't follow the Dolphins and wait till they make changes. But I don't expect any changes in the front office, at head coach, and at quarterback, by the way. So whatever complaints you have at any of those levels or all levels, and including the owner's not selling. The GM's not going anywhere. The head coach is not going anywhere. And the quarterback's not going anywhere. Okay? So, I'm from the class of I don't want McDaniel back, but it is what it is. So I've said, make Frank Smith the offensive coordinator at least. Do that. So maybe you get better results out of the team. I have no idea whether it happens or not. But since you're not going to make any changes, then from within, make that tweak. And then the other one, you have to fire Danny Crossman. You have to fire Danny Crossman. You cannot keep Danny Crossman on this team. Okay? I don't want the head coach, but I get it. Okay? Head coach is staying. Front office is staying. Owner staying. Quarterback staying. Okay. All right. I'm moving past that. Then at least do this. And that's it. That's all. Anyway, Karoon says, so true, Big O. A few months back, I blacked out while working remotely, woke up on the ground 45 minutes later with what I think was a concussion. I was doing nothing, and everything could have ended. Yeah. Yep. Yep. That happened to me, by the way, when I passed out at training camp, and that's because I didn't have any water. That freaked me out, and I knew I was going to pass out. That's the screwed up part. When you know you're going to pass out and you're telling, hey, you want to help me out here? I'm about to pass out. I'm about to pass out. And the guy's looking at me like, huh? What? One of those deals. It's funny. So are you going to quit complaining? No, I haven't quit complaining for 40 years. So complaining, I'm here for it. I'm here to watch. I'm here to support, and I'm here to complain. So I'm good at complaining. I'm an expert at complaining. So that won't stop. Let's see. What else do we have? Josh Allen going nowhere. Uphill battle for the Dolphins. Yeah, that's right. Some fans and media won't like this, but look at the cup half full. Miami has a QB for the future. That's the most important piece to move forward. Some don't understand that Dolphin 13. A lot of people don't think that they have a quarterback. So, when you resist change, things will remain the same. Yeah. But hey, I've come to the reality of what's going to happen, right? So this is what at least I want to maybe make a difference for next year. Okay? We're all going to disagree on certain things, you know. I see some of the writers are coming out and wanting Chris Greer fired. I believe the only one that says that Mike McDaniel should be fired is, at least from what I've seen, is Kyle Krabs with me, right? I think Chris Perkins wants to bring everybody back, give them one more chance. So everybody, you know, we all see it differently. That's how it goes. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? That's sports, baby. That's sports. But the one thing we can all agree upon is that they don't have anything right now. They're not winning a championship, and they're not close to it. And like that gentleman just said, or lady, or whatever I read there, Josh Allen ain't going nowhere, and the Bills aren't going nowhere. And McDermott has owned the Dolphins. What is he like? 13-2, 14-1, 14-2, or something, like something stupid. 12-2, 12-1, or I don't know. It's like a ridiculous record. But it's like 1, maybe 2 losses to the Dolphins. That's bad. Yes, sir.
13.
There you go. Told you. It's like something stupid. Absolutely stupid. 13-2. Oh, my God. Yes, I do remember Tommy Vigorito. Yes, sir. Of course, I remember Tommy Vigorito. Anyway, we are out of here. All right. We appreciate you all out there. Those of you that send in a super chat, thank you, thank you, thank you. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. By the way, wait a minute. One more from Steve from Venmo. I said win with less, brother. If you put Tua on those Steeler teams, he'd still be in the hospital. No, the Steeler teams, he would win all those championships. Nobody would touch him. They have a running game. You put Tua on the Chiefs this year and you're doing shows blaming his losses. No, they have they have an offensive line. They have a running game. Yeah, they'd be fine. And they have the best offense. So Andy Reid and Mike McDaniel, again, you know, I get it, bro. You're trying to justify everything you have with it and all that, and that's fine. Whatever, dude. That's good. Yeah. So good coaching and a great team around him. You know, I only saw him win a national championship in college when he had coaching and a team. So I don't know. You know, he made all the throws you needed to. But if you're going to have him under pressure and you can't run the ball and you can't defend, and you have a terrible coach on the sidelines that can't get the plays in on time so you can react, which puts the quarterback at a completely a huge disadvantage. But that's all right. Let's leave the facts out, Steve. I mean, why would we have facts? Why would we have context? You know, because Andy Reid, Mike McDaniel. Yeah. Mike Tomlin, Chuck Noll. Yeah, to Mike McDaniel. That might be a difference. Yeah. Yeah. No difference there. It's not going to help Tua out at all to be coached by Andy Reid. Not at all. What is your prediction for McIdiot's last game of the season press conference? Oh, I don't know, dude. All I know is they're going to lose at least one of the next 3 games. Guaranteed they will not run the table. They will lose one of these 3 games. Look out if they don't lose 2 of 3 because he might start losing that locker room in the end. Those guys might end up starting to make business decisions. Plus, you may have to start playing some of the young guys, and that will put you at a disadvantage, at a bigger disadvantage. Except if you bench Poyer. Okay? What they should do is bench Poyer and make Rachel Bush one of the cheerleaders. All right, we thank Sean Stanley And we thank all of you out there. If you send in a super chat, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, thank you all out there. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. Same time, same place, same back up, same bat channel.